Imagine your former team asking you back. That's exactly what's happening in MotoGP. Gresini Racing is being pulled toward Honda. This decision could shake the entire paddock. Gresini Racing's partnership with Ducati began in 2022, and from the very first race, the results were impossible to ignore. Enea Bastianini, riding as an independent on the new Ducati machinery, stunned the paddock by winning 4 Grands Prix that season: Qatar, the United States, France, and Aragon. By the end of the year, Bastianini stood 3rd in the World Championship, outscoring most factory riders and putting Gresini at the center of every MotoGP conversation. The momentum didn't fade. In 2023, Gresini extended its Ducati deal, bringing in Álex Márquez, who quickly found his rhythm with a breakthrough sprint win at Silverstone. The team's competitiveness became a constant threat, not just to other satellites, but to the factories themselves. Then, in 2024, the story took another wild turn. Marc Marquez, 6-time Premier Class champion, left Honda to join his brother Álex at Gresini. The move sent shockwaves through the sport. Marc delivered 3 Grand Prix victories and 10 podiums on the customer Ducati, finishing 3rd in the championship. Álex matched his pace, and the team's reputation soared. By 2025, Gresini was rewriting the record books. Álex Márquez finished 2nd in the Riders' Championship, clinching the Best Independent Rider title. With rookie Fermín Aldeguer joining and scoring his own podiums, Gresini sealed the Best Independent Team award, racking up more wins and points than any satellite squad in recent memory. In just 4 seasons, Gresini's Ducati era turned a privateer outfit into MotoGP's most feared independent team, forcing the factories to take notice. Long before Gresini's Ducati era, the team's identity was shaped by a different badge. For more than a decade, from 2002 through 2014, Gresini Racing and Honda were inseparable in the MotoGP paddock. The blue and white bikes carried not just the names of sponsors, but the weight of shared ambition, a family operation built around loyalty, perseverance, and the memory of Fausto Gresini himself. Those years saw Gresini field a rotating cast of riders, each carving out their own chapter in the team's story. There were moments of heartbreak and flashes of brilliance, including podiums with Sete Gibernau, the promise of Marco Melandri, and the sheer determination of Alvaro Bautista and Stefan Bradl in the later seasons. The team never captured a Premier Class title, but it became a proving ground for talent and a symbol of resilience, weathering both tragedy and triumph. The partnership ended in 2015, when Gresini charted a new course with Aprilia. Still, for many inside the paddock, the Honda years linger, a period when the Gresini name meant something more than just results. It was about trust, about building something lasting in a sport defined by change. For Honda, the prospect of reuniting with Gresini is not just a business calculation. It is a chance to rekindle a connection that once helped define the team's soul. As rumors swirl about a possible return, the echoes of that long partnership add a layer of emotion to every negotiation, reminding everyone that in MotoGP, some bonds never fully disappear. Honda's ambitions for 2027 reach far beyond nostalgia. In the paddock, their engineers and strategists have drawn up a blueprint: 6 competitive bikes on the grid, all gathering data, all pushing development forward. The logic is simple. When the regulations reset and every manufacturer starts from scratch, the team with the most information adapts fastest. Honda's current presence, limited to the factory squad and LCR, does not deliver enough telemetry to compete with Ducati's data machine. By bringing Gresini back, Honda could double its footprint overnight. This is not about filling grid spots, it is about accelerating the learning curve. Every lap from a Gresini rider would feed the RC214V project, sharpening the bike ahead of the 850 cubic centimeters era. Manufacturer statements have hinted at this approach, describing the next cycle as a race to decode new rules, new tires, and new fuel. For Honda, adding Gresini is not just a reunion. it is a strategic weapon. The timeline is tight. With the 2027 technical overhaul looming, every week lost is a week Ducati keeps its edge. For Gresini, the offer promises a return to factory-spec machinery and a central role in Honda's comeback plan. Ducati's dominance has come at a price, one that's becoming harder for its satellite teams to pay. In recent seasons, Ducati shifted more of the salary burden for star riders onto its independent partners. Where once the factory would shoulder the cost of attracting big names, now teams like Gresini are expected to fund competitive lineups from their own budgets. As rider salaries climb with every podium and championship bid, the gap between factory-backed and independent teams widens. Gresini, despite delivering results that rival the best in MotoGP, faces a financial squeeze. The team must balance the cost of fielding proven race winners with the reality of limited sponsorship and prize money. Ducati's new policy isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. It forces Gresini to make hard choices about its future. The pressure grows as Ducati prioritizes its own interests, locking in riders and making lineup decisions without Gresini's input. For a team used to building its own destiny, these changes feel like a warning. The door to alternatives, including a Honda reunion, starts to look less like a risk and more like a necessary escape. Honda's approach isn't just about filling the grid. The offer on the table is bold. Gresini would receive full factory-spec RC2114Vs, the same bikes as the Works team, not hand-me-downs or year-old machines. This is a level of technical support usually reserved for direct factory partners, access to the latest engine updates, electronics, and data, all delivered without compromise. For a team used to fighting for scraps, the promise of being treated as equals to the factory squad is hard to ignore. Beyond the hardware, Honda is offering a seat at the table on development decisions, a chance for Gresini to help shape the next generation bike from day one. In the past, satellite teams have watched from the sidelines as factories dictated terms. Now, Gresini is being invited to join the inner circle. The prestige and influence that come with this status could transform the team's future. But with this opportunity comes a heavy responsibility. The expectation is clear. Deliver results, accelerate Honda's rebuild, and justify the investment. For Gresini, the question isn't just about better machinery. It's about whether the leap to factory status is a lifeline or a new kind of pressure that could test everything the team has built. Inside Ducati's headquarters, the relationship with Gresini has grown tense. In recent contract cycles, Ducati executives have started making key rider decisions without consulting Gresini's management. The most glaring example came ahead of the 2026 season, when Ducati locked in a factory contract for Fermín Aldeguer and orchestrated Álex Márquez's exit, leaving Gresini with no voice in the fate of its own lineup. Team principals learned of these choices only after deals were finalized, sparking frustration behind closed doors. Communication, once open and collaborative, now feels filtered and delayed. Gresini's input on technical direction and rider selection is routinely sidelined as Ducati's priorities shift toward factory-backed teams and corporate strategy. For a team that built its reputation on independence and close-knit decision-making, this new reality stings. The sense of partnership has been replaced by a transactional dynamic, where Gresini is expected to adapt to decisions made elsewhere. As the 2027 rule changes approach, the lack of trust and transparency leaves Gresini questioning whether their future can or should be tied to Ducati's vision. The 2027 MotoGP rule overhaul promises to shake the sport to its core. Engines shrink to 850 cubic centimeters, ride height devices vanish, and every manufacturer loses the technical edge they once guarded. Aerodynamics, once Ducati's playground, are now tightly policed. For teams, the reset means years of data and hard-won secrets become obsolete overnight. In this environment, grid size and fresh information are everything. Honda's six-bike ambition isn't just about numbers. It's about outpacing rivals in a development arms race where every lap matters. For Ducati, the threat is immediate. If Gresini walks, Ducati surrenders a vital data source just as the new era begins. The loss isn't only technical, it's political too. When Álex Márquez departs, the last link to Gresini's record-breaking run is gone. Ducati's satellite structure, once the envy of the paddock, suddenly looks fragile. Lineup scenarios for 2027 swirl with uncertainty. Riders and engineers are forced to choose sides, weighing loyalty against opportunity. The paddock senses it. This isn't just a team switch, it's a turning point, with the future of MotoGP's balance of power hanging in the balance. Right now, Honda's pursuit of Gresini is more than a business move. It's an emotional, high-stakes play that could rewrite MotoGP's balance of power. As Ducati risks losing its star satellite, the paddock holds its breath. Is this Gresini's masterstroke or MotoGP's boldest gamble yet? Share your take below.